Okay, it's time for another movie haul. So I'm gonna review three movies, and usually I review action movies. So I'm gonna step out of there and review some quieter movies. Now, the first quiet movie I want to talk about is actually this movie called The Class, and uh, how do I describe The Class? The Class is actually, I don't really know how it got famous. It's a foreign French film, and it's basically the story of, it's based on a book. It's the story of a teacher teaching his class, and that's about it. Like I tried to find the plot, and apparently the closest I got to a plot is the teacher's trying to teach his students and there's problems in the class. Like basically they took a camera and they filmed a class and the staff. And you never see them outside the school. Like it stays in the school. And this movie got awards. Like it I know it won something at the Cannes Films Festival, but I don't really remember, but this movie was really applauded, and I actually heard about it and I wanted to watch it, but when I did, it it I don't really know where it got the praise. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's just I don't really see anything to give it a lot of praise. I mean, I saw this in French class, so my teacher, he actually showed it to us because the movie talked about a lot about French grammar and how he teaches his class and how he teaches them how to speak French better. But me and my classmates actually had the same problems with this movie. Like we didn't really know what the plot was. Like I even started making comparisons to what was it? To Freedom Riders. Like Freedom Riders actually, it's they're essentially the sameish kind of movie, whereas Freedom Riders is more emotionally based. The Class is more, how do I describe it? It's more quieter. It's more realistic. It has a more realistic feel to it. Like I'm not saying Freedom Riders isn't realistic, but Freedom Riders, its style and how it feels is more Hollywood. This movie feels like they literally took a camera and filmed The Class. Like there's like little to no music in this movie, and it never leaves the school. Like it feels more like an art house film, an artsy kind of film than a Hollywood drama film. That's what I'm trying to mean. I get. And I also made some other comparisons to Freedom Riders that I'm I was actually kind of shocked that no one who said this movie was good actually noticed. Like they the teacher showed them Anne Frank, which they showed in Freedom Riders. Like Anne Frank, he was trying to compare their experiences to Anne Frank, and the only difference between how the class which treated Anne Frank as compared to the class in Freedom Riders. In Freedom Riders, they treated Anne Frank with a lot more. They analyzed her a lot more, and she actually became their inspiration. Whereas in the class, it's sort of like they know about her, but they're not really that interested. Like they kind of just take it as a book, and and when the teacher assigns them the project of you have to write in your notebook about your lives, the class is actually a lot more resistant than the class in the Freedom Rider. So I guess that's where the major differences between Freedom Riders and class are. And also another another big difference between the Freedom Riders and the class is it in Freedom Riders there's a lot more emotion, like I think I mentioned that already. In the class it just feels really dry. Like I never really sense a sort of like sense of respect between the teacher and the students. Like I don't know if it's just me, but it doesn't really feel like they actually connected. Whereas Freedom Riders, near the class really connected, like really connected to the teacher. I think near the middle of the movie. It and actually it sort of works for the class because it feels a little more realistic than the Freedom Riders, but I'm gonna try to get away from Freedom Riders, but as a movie on its own, The Class, I mean, I don't really know why it's applauded that much. That's what I'm trying. It's my main problem with this movie. Like, they just filmed The Class. It. I could do that if I was given time to edit and polish it up, make it into a good movie. Like, that's literally what this movie is. So, if you have any thoughts about it, if I'm honestly missing something, go ahead and tell me, because I need another perspective. I need another view on this movie. I'm not saying it's terrible. It's far from terrible, but it is extremely boring to watch a class learn stuff. If I wanted to watch a movie about learning stuff, I'd watch my own class. That's what I'm trying to say.